Hello everybody, Kevin J. Johnston here, freedomreport.ca. I have the extreme pleasure of sitting with Sandra Solomon, who you have been introduced to online as the lady who protested at the Peel District School Board. Hello Sandra, and thank you for joining us.
Hello, thank you so much for having me here. It's my honor.
Well, first off, let's talk about who you are. Who is Sandra Solomon?
Well, my name is Sandra Solomon. I'm the founder of Canadian Against Islamization movement. I'm ex-Muslim myself, and I came to Canada about 11 years ago. I immigrant to Canada. I was raised all my life in Saudi Arabia, between Saudi Arabia and Jordan.
Really?
Yes.
Well, in the Peel District School Board last month, we had a vote that was taking place to allow Arabic and Muslim students to pray in Arabic in publicly funded schools where Christians, I see your Christian cross, are not allowed to do so. You then raised this book in the air, the Quran,
Yes.
and began to tell the crowd, to educate the crowd.
Right.
What were you saying?
I was telling them that Quran, it's a hate literature, and Islam, it's a terrorist ideology, and I was warning Canada about this decision that they're bringing the Quran and the Islamic teaching to the Canadian school, and because I know this is the part of the plan of the Islamization movement, that they're trying to bring Islam to the school and to brainwash the kids as early as possible with Islamic teaching.
What is the goal for Islam to brainwash our kids? What is the end game for them in doing this?
Of course, they want to convert the kids as early as possible to Islam, and they want to let them also, live Islamic culturally, adapt Islamic values, and try to, like for the girls, to let them wear the hijab, and for the boys, the lifestyle, the Islamic lifestyle, the Islamic culture lifestyle. So slowly they want to, this is the implementing of Sharia law in schools.
And of course, you and I are dead set against
of course
that.
Big time.
Yes. So let's go back now to Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Yes. You indicated when you were talking at the Peel District School Board that they took your son from you.
Yes.
You've witnessed a lot of death and murder.
Yeah.
And you had to escape the country as a woman. Could you clarify that?
Yes, I face so many things. Like, I lived under Sharia law. Saudi Arabia, it's 100% Sharia law constitution, and that's what they teach us as we're young. That's why I was holding the Quran. They teach us that the Quran, it's our constitution. So to them, this is the government here in the Quran. They don't govern by Canadian law or Canadian values. They govern by Sharia law, by what says in the Quran. This is the constitution. So in Saudi Arabia, we learned the Islamic, the Quran and the Hadith. I was fully understanding what Islam it's all about, and I faced so many problem when I used to live in Saudi Arabia. I was forced to wear the hijab. If I'm refusing, I was physically abused a lot just because I refused the hijab.
Wow.
And they forced me into a marriage. Forced marriage, it's part of Islamic way of life. Women in Islam, it's a second-class citizen. They don't have freedom of speech. They cannot live freely, and there's no free thoughts. There's no free speech in Sharia law, and I faced so many problems as well. Since I was in school as well, they kicked me out from school many times. I lost opportunity to continue my education just because I was always arguing and questioning Islam, this is considered a blasphemy. You're not allowed to question. You just have to submit and no question asked.
So as an intelligent individual, which I can tell that you are, you see through this book.
Yeah.
You see through it all.
Right.
Just like I myself see through most of our Canadian statutes and laws.
Right.
I don't accept them.
Yeah.
So you've been outspoken about this,
Yeah.
and that forced you to have to leave your country of birth.
Right. And when things happen, through my life, when I came to Canada, I came with my son. But at a certain time, I had to leave him a little bit with his dad after hardly I got my divorce. You know, it wasn't easy as well. And when I told them, like years later, it's like it's a long story, but I'm cut it short. When I told them that I left Islam, I'm a Christian now. My son at that time was in Saudi Arabia, and they told me, you're not gonna come to see him. We will kill you if you come to Jordan again. And you know, I was. They told me you will never see your son again. But praise the Lord, miraculously I got my son back to me, but it wasn't easy. It was really, really hard.
Where's your son now?
He's with me now.
In Canada?
Yes.
In the city
Praise
of
the
Mississauga.
Lord. Yes.
Praise him.
Yes.
Well done. Good
Amen.
for you.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Well, the Quran itself now, I have been reading Bill Warner's English translation of this book, and I am blown away by how this thing is structured. My understanding of the book, without the proper interpretations of it, is that it's organized from the longest story at the beginning to the shortest story at the end, which leaves nothing but controversy and contradiction in between all the pages. Maybe you could clear that up for everybody.
Okay. The Quran itself, it's mixed between the Maccayan. We should associate it with the history of Muhammad, the founder of Islam. If we don't know the history of Muhammad, we have to put it all together with the Quran, because it's a Maccayan stage and the Medinan stage. It's actually two Qurans in one. So the Maccayan chapters different than the Medinan chapters, and what's he said in the Medinan chapters abrogated what he said in the Maccayan chapters. So technically we should just take the Medinan one, because the Maccayan one, it's been abrogated.
All right. So when you're saying Maccayan, you mean Meccan? Like
Mecca. In Mecca. When he was in Muhammad, when he was in Mecca for almost 13 years, you know, he was preaching that he's a prophet, telling people, I am a prophet, follow me, and people don't not listen to him. And he was trying to deceive them using the taqiyya and lying and pretending that he's a nice guy, he's bringing a religion, and you have your religion, I have my religion. You know, these all like Maccayan verses that the Muslims, they always use it when they're in a stage, you know, like for when they're in a Maccayan stage, like for now, like the Maccayan, the Muslim now in Canada, they playing the Maccayan stage, taqiyya and deceive until they have a full control of the country. Then the Median Quran will appear.
So the Meccan version of this is the nice version.
Yes.
Yes, that's the one that's polite and has a little bit to do with
even
love.
Though it has some like obvious word, like it would say like ya ayyuhal kafirun, oh yeah infidels. Like he already started calling the people infidels.
Right. And that's in the good book.
Yeah, this is from the good side as well. Like he already put the label of the people who's not gonna follow him infidels. It's all Muhammad ideology that's been written in this book. So
it's just one guy wrote this book, essentially.
It's just one guy that he...
Or better yet, sorry, one guy who dictated notes and someone wrote it down for him. Yes. My understanding was that Muhammad was illiterate.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Abdullah ibn al-Jarrah. There is many people also write it. And actually, surprisingly, one of the people who used to write for Muhammad when he's, telling him what to write, and this guy was writing something, like Muhammad, he said something, but he was writing something else. And then he said to him, oh, but isn't better if we say something? He said, okay, just put it this way. So the guy who was writing for him actually left Muhammad and figured out that he's not a prophet or anything, and there's nothing is revealing to him. And he actually left him and left the Arabic Peninsula and went to Ethiopia, and he became Christian. The one of the guy who was writing for Muhammad.
Let's just recap what you just said there, because that's hilarious.
Yes, Abdullah ibn al-Jarrah, his name.
Muhammad was dictating notes to someone else to say, I am the prophet, I am the word of Allah.
Yes.
Everything I say is law because it comes from Allah.
Yes.
Then this guy would write something else down.
Right.
Read back what he had written.
Yes.
And Muhammad would just say, yeah, okay, go ahead with that.
Yeah,
because
it's better.
the job is done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Like it fits better because once the people who do not know how to read the Quran in Arabic, that's why I always recite the Quran in Arabic because I understand the original language of it. It's like a poetry. It has to fit nice together. So as he's writing, he has to put it together. It's like when you write a poem, you have to put things together.
Trial and error. Yeah.
Exactly.
Testing. Yeah.
So that's the Quran, because the Arabic Peninsula, the region there, it was people was famous by poetry. Arab people, you know.
But it was such a farce.
Yes.
That even Muhammad's personal scribe.
Yes.
Said the hell with this.
Yes.
Left the entire Arabic area.
Yes.
The desert. Left.
Yes.
And became a Christian.
Yes, and he went to Ethiopia and Al-Habasha in Arabic, and he became Christian.
What do I say then
Yes.
to any Muslim apologist
Yes.
or any Mohammedan out there who
Yeah.
tells me that that is not true?
Well, read the story of Abdullah ibn Jarrah. Like his name is there. It's been written in the history.
Tell you what, let's spell that right now for everybody.
Yeah.
What's the guy's name?
Abdullah ibn Jarrah.
Okay, you're gonna have to go slow because I don't speak Arabic.
Abdullah
Abdullah.
Ibn.
Yeah. Okay.
Al-Jarrah.
Al-Jarrah. I
Yeah.
tell you what, people, I'm gonna
Yes.
find that name. Don't you worry. There's future videos
Yes.
coming about that name.
Yes.
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 Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you very
No
much
problem.
for joining us today.
Yes, no
We'll be
problem.
in touch soon. Kevin J. Johnston from freedomreport.ca and the lovely Sandra Solomon here to teach you the truth about the Quran, Mohammedans, and Islam. Kevin J. Johnston here, freedomreport.ca. I'm with the lovely Sandra Solomon to talk to you about the Quran and the Islamization of Canada. We talked in our last video about the Peel District School Board, and for those of you out there that don't know what that means, Peel Region is a culmination of 3 cities, Mississauga, Brampton, and Caledon, which are to the extreme west of the city of Toronto in the province of Ontario, Canada. Our Peel District School Board, I've met some of these people, and I'll tell you what they are, is gutless. They are absolutely ready to surrender on a moment's notice just because a couple of Muslims scream out. Sandra has protested there, and I have protested with my own letter. And as an expert on the Quran, I'd like Sandra to tell me if I'm right or wrong. My letter starts off to the Peel Board of Education. My name is Kevin J. Johnston. Before I begin speaking to you, I demand the women among you lower your gaze. Quran 24:31. Am I right?
Yes, they have to lower their voice, and they have to submit, and they have to be. This is the good Muslim woman. That's how they should act.
So a good Muslim woman has to look at the floor
Yes.
when a man is speaking, or just is it when a man's in the room? How does that work?
Yes, of course. It's like يغض البصر in Arabic. Like they have to keep their eyes down when they speak to men, and they're not allowed to shake hands with men, and they're not even allowed to associate, like to work with men. Like I lived in Saudi Arabia, everything is separate. Actually, the girls, they will have their own schools, and the boy have their own schools. There's no mixed school under Sharia law. You cannot do that.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. My second sentence was, in addition, if there are any women among you who are unclean, meaning menstruating, I would ask that you leave the room. And that's Quran 5:6. Please. Is that true?
Yes, because under Sharia law, women, they consider filthy, and they're not clean. The men even like it says in the Quran, وَإِذَا لَمَسْتُمُ النِّسَاءَ أَوْ جَاءَكُمُ الْغَائِطُ. That means if you touch a woman, and if you go the second one, like the Quran actually describe woman as a boo-boo, like the second one. It's in the Quran.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
So you're like a scab.
Yeah,
like a
you're
cut.
like you're filthy. You're not clean. If a man touch a woman, he has to go wash himself.
Why do you think then that women in Canada are defending Islamic prayers and Islamic groups that want to bring Sharia law here? Why are white Canadian women protecting this and telling men like me that I'm wrong to talk about this?
First of all, because they're ignorant and they're betrayers, and I'm sure
Yes, treason,
they're getting paid very well, and also they're the Muslim deceiving them using the taqiyya. They're not telling them the truth, and they don't want to know the truth.
Well, taqiyya is the rule in this book that says
it's rule
lie,
number one.
lie, lie.
You have to. If you don't lie, you're not Muslim.
Really?
Yeah, you have
rule
to lie.
number one.
It's rule number one. You have taqiyya.
To lie.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, deceiving until you got what you want, until you're the upper hands. You know, you make them submit to you by deceiving. They're deceived as well, and we have to. When we're talking to them, we want to educate them. It's not like we're enemy for them. We're bringing the evidence. We're bringing everything that from the Quran, from the Hadith, from Imams themselves. They're saying this. So what else they want? We got all. It's not like just we're bringing something from our own heads. I can provide with every. That's why in the Peel District School, I have a bunch of papers with me, and I keep repeating. I have evidence. I have evidence. I wanted to give them the evidence of what I'm saying.
Well, you're asking Janet McDougall
Yeah.
to do something other than scream and yell at white Canadians that pay her salary.
Yeah.
She is a psychopath. There's a lot wrong with her. I've met her. I despise her in every way. And the school board, during our next municipal election, you'd be wise to get her out. Trust me.
Yeah.
Regardless, my third statement here is, I would also like to ask the men holding this letter, if you have shaken hands with or touched your menstruating colleagues, please rub your hands in dirt and then wash them in water so that you are clean. And that's Quran 5:6 as well. Is that one true?
Yes. They have to watch. If a man is not allowed to touch a woman who's not his wife, or shake hands even, just to shake hands with them. Do you see all the time, many Muslims, they don't shake hands, either man or woman. They refuse to shake the hands. Like this is part of Sharia law. It's part of the Quran. Again, the Quran is the constitution. Whatever Quran is telling them to do, they will do it blindly. They will just have to follow.
So when they're not allowed to shake hands,
they're not
Muslims
allowed.
You're not allowed to shake hands with each other, with men and women?
No.
Oh?
This is like considered. They have to go make wudu. They have to wash themselves. It's because the women are filthy to them. Like they're not considered filthy. They're not.
Wow.
They're not allowed to shake hands.
With women?
No, with women, no, of course not.
Oh my Lord!
You can't even, like in Sharia law, women supposedly they have to fully cover the niqab, not just like the eyes. No. Under Sharia law, it has to be fully covered. Even though the face covering, it's not mentioned in the Quran, but culturally, they have to, like under Sharia law.
How happy do you think Canadian women are going to be when Sharia law is brought into certain communities and white Canadian women are forced to put that on? What do you think is going to happen then?
They're gonna start rebel, and they're gonna start talking open. They're gonna open their eyes to the truth, but it's gonna be too late for them. They have to submit, otherwise the Sharia police will hit them with the sticks, like what they did to many women in Saudi Arabia. And I witnessed this. The Sharia police, they don't give them the freedom to speak or to criticize, and it's gonna be too late for them. They have to submit. They're a slave.
Oh my Lord!
Yeah, that's woman, slave, sex slave.
Sex slave, yes.
Yeah.
Well, what about then? There is a ruling in the Middle East about the fact that a man is now allowed to have sex with his wife up to 6 hours after her death.
Yes.
What would be the starting of something like that?
The starting of that, it's a fatwa from many imams, and that's Muslims also, they go by fatwas. Whatever the imam tells them to do, they will do it. Because after Muhammad's death, there's many interpretation for Quran, explanations, and many scholars, many Muslim scholars. So Muslim, actually, they don't think for themselves. What makes me leave Islam, because I start thinking for myself. I don't want nobody to, I'm not a follower, I'm a leader. I'm not just gonna take this and just submit to it. So having sex with a dead woman, Muhammad himself, he did it.
Oh.
Yeah. So he had sex with dead women, And so even when they saw him doing this,
Yeah.
the follower, they said, oh, Prophet, we never see something like this. So he said to them, oh, I was trying to make the punishment of, because they believe in Islam, the grave, when people die, they will be punished in the grave, like before they go to the punishment in the grave. So he said, I was making it easy on her, whatever. He was trying. So people like even the people at his time, they were surprised because never happened before. Muhammad, he's the first one started to say it's okay, it's halal to have sex with dead women.
Oh my, and halal means proper.
Halal means it's permitted. It's
Permitted.
okay. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I did speak with a Lebanese Christian about this, and what he was saying is that for men, this religion, if you could call it that, is all about one thing: sex, sex, sex. Those were his words to me.
Yeah.
That everything in here is telling men that it's okay to have sex with anything you want, whether the person that you're having sex with wants you to or not.
Yeah.
Could you comment on that?
Of course, women in Islam, it's a sex object, and in Islam, permitting having sex with pre-precedent girls, like young girls, before they got their period. It's okay to, have sex with her. It's
I
okay
can't even talk about that without getting mad.
Yes, and it's halal. Surah 65, verse 4. It's there, and many verses talking about sex, and many hadith as well. And what Muhammad did. Don't forget, Muhammad, the founder of Islam, and one very important thing: we need to stop calling Islam a religion. This is a big mistake that people always do. It's not religion. It's a political ideology wrapped up with religion. It's not religion. It's cult. Islam, it's cult. We need to stop calling it religion. We have to call it for what it is.
Okay. Well, I will do that. I'm no longer using the term Muslim either. I'm using the term Mohammedan.
Mohammedan or bandits and thugs, because Muhammad was bandit and thug. Yeah.
Yes, he was. I'll read the last point here on this letter, and then we'll move on.
Yes.
I also say here that you should also take note that after reading this letter, it should turn out that 2 men vote against 4 women on the decision before you, and those 4 women vote against the 2 men, then the decision shall fall to the 2 men, as the value of ladies is half that of your male colleagues. That's Quran 4:11 and 4:176. Is that true?
Yes, because when women appear in a court or anywhere, her witnessing, it's not taken. It has to be it has to be with the 2 women, and because also the women, when they inherit, like 2 men for 1 woman, like the equal, and women, her witnessing, it's not taken serious. It has to be. Yeah.
So if they're in a court of law, and there are 2 women and 1 man, even if the 2 of them state that he killed my father, if he says no, he did not, he wins.
Yes, he won. Yeah, because the
3 women are required.
Yeah.
So that's 1.5 human beings.
Yes.
That's
why they considered women under Sharia law. It says women naqisatu aqlin wa din. They don't have full brain. They're not like.
They don't have a full brain.
Yeah, they don't have full brain. Like their brain, it's not full. It's not developed. Like it's not fully developed. Men under Sharia law, women always have to have a guardian, like a man guardian, to tell her what to do and what not to do.
Can I ask this question here?
Yeah.
Because the fact that I didn't know that it said half a brain. I knew it said half the value.
Yes,
but I didn't know it said half a brain.
In the hadith.
And that pisses me off.
Yes.
So my real question now is, how does a criminal like Bonnie Crombie, the mayor of Mississauga, the 6th biggest, possibly the 5th biggest city in the country now, how does she not, as a woman, be repulsed by the fact that the people who are supporting her and whom she is supporting believe she has half a brain?
Actually, and also under Sharia law, women should not be in a position to be a mayor or responsible of anything in the country. It has to be male.
It has to be male.
It's against Sharia law. Like if let's say Canada, God forbid, became Sharia law, all these women, they would have to leave their positions. They're not allowed. under Sharia law.
And then they'll be told they have half a
They
brain.
have to. Yes, they're not qualified to roll or to make decisions. So how they're gonna make them mayor or even these school board women? They're not allowed.
Let me tell you something. As a man, I'm the first one to say that 95% of men are not qualified to do much more than pull up their own pants.
Yeah.
So for me to hear what you just said,
Yes.
this book makes me extremely angry.
Yeah.
I married a woman who has 3 degrees. 3. She's working on another one now. We're
Yeah.
talking about someone who has twice my brain capacity.
Right.
Smart is sexy. And
Yeah.
for this book to tell me that I would now have to look for someone who's a moron or try to convince my wife who has this much education
Right.
that she is stupid because this book is sitting on my desk
Yeah.
is highly offensive
Yes.
and highly angering. How do I
Yeah.
deal with this now with idiots like Justin Trudeau telling me that I'm not allowed to even talk about that?
Well, that's what we're doing here. You know, we're exposing Islam. We're telling people what's the truth about it. And we're bringing all the evidence. And people should listen to us. They should listen to you. And whatever we're saying, it's not propaganda where we don't have to lie to make Islam look bad. It's already bad enough. And we have every evidence from imams, Canadian imam themselves, talking openly about women being sex slave. Dr. Iqbal Al-Nadvi, he is the chairperson Canadian Council of, he is the Canada top imam, the leader of ECNA Canada. He openly talking about beating in Islam is a type of education, beating up the women.
Holy
They have
Jesus.
to be. This is the Canadian top imam. Every imam in Canada, he has to go through this man, Dr. Iqbal Al-Nadvi, and I was always challenging him openly to debate me, and I was trying to.
Why is he not in jail for hate crimes against women?
Because we have a betrayed government. We have a Trudeau who betrayed Canada and given it all the way to these thugs and bandits, and they say whatever they want to say, and they're protected because the government fighting us. They're not fighting for us. Canadians need to wake up and realize this. The Canadian government betrayed us, all of them. Whoever in the government building right now and the parliament, all of them, all liberals, they should just...
They should be in prison for treason.
All of them. Yes,
High
yes,
treason.
Yes, very, very, because...
Criminal Code of Canada, Section 46. Read it.
Exactly. Many, as you go ahead and read the Toronto police chaplain, he said marrying 9 years old girl is permissible. Muslih Khan. What else? Like, we have so many evidence with Canadian imams. They're speaking openly about beating the wife, marrying young girls, taking sex slave openly on a Canadian soil in a free country, and they use the freedom to destroy the freedom. And when we talk, criticize,
Yes.
we are the one who's considered blasphemers. You know,
Yes.
that's Sharia law.
Oh, read my comments section, people. What you'll find is that Canadians who are second, third, and fourth generation agree with me, and
Yes.
all these other idiots that were born after 2000 do nothing but insult me.
Yeah.
And I do get death threats on the phone quite a bit.
Yes, because
a lot.
this is part of the Sharia law. جزاء الذين يحاربون الله ورسوله إما أن يقتلوا أو يصلبوا أو تقطع أيديهم. Whoever say anything or criticize Sharia law in the Quran, it says under Sharia law it should be killed or crucified or cut the hands and the legs at the opposite side.
Oh, I did say that in my letter. I was
Oh,
going to ask you
okay,
if that
that's
was
good.
true. Yes, okay.
Yes.
Here is what I said. Thinking about insulting the fictional character, Allah, or his prophet, the penalty is death.
Yeah.
Quran 29:68. Or if you prefer, in Quran 5:33, you'll have your hands and feet cut off and then be crucified Jesus style. Is that true?
That's true.
I knew it was true.
Yeah,
I mean, I took this from
Yes.
the Quran itself.
Yes, yes.
Now,
all what
okay.
they need to do, open the Quran
Right.
and read. How simple.
What I want to ask then is this. All right, there are Muslims in Canada, Mohammedans in Canada, who
Mohammedans, yes.
Mohammedans who are born here, and they probably don't believe this stuff. But how is it then that when I talk about crucifixion as part of the book itself, that they want to tell me that I'm wrong? These are, if you're Canadian born as a Mohammedan, you are probably into hockey and chicken wings and beer and strip joints, masturbation, f***ing as many women as you possibly can. You're probably without condoms, because that is what freedom is supposed to be. Then how is it you can see all these wonderful things the country has to offer and then still defend the book?
Because they've been brainwashed when they're young, and they've been told this is only at the wartime when Muhammad was defending himself, which is Muhammad never all his attacks was attack ghazwa. They call it a ghazwa. He never was in a position. Yes, Muhammad never was in a position on a defending himself. Never. He was always the one who.
Always the attacker.
Always
never
the attacker, never to be offended. And I will tell you later about short, 6 minutes. I'll tell you exactly how Muhammad started.
We're going to cover that in our next video.
Yes.
This is the lovely Sandra Solomon. I'm Kevin J. Johnston. Visit us online anytime at freedomreport.ca. Don't forget to fight for your freedom, because it's going away fast. Kevin J. Johnston here, freedomreport.ca. I'm with the lovely Sandra Solomon, who is an expert in this book right here, the Quran, mistakenly known as the Holy Quran, because after reading as much of it as I have, I can tell you there's nothing holy about it. Sandra, would you please go ahead and tell us how Muhammad got started?
Okay, Muhammad, when he was in Mecca, so we have to understand the environments. What's the people used to do there in Mecca? Mecca was a multicultural city. It has Jews, Christian, it has all kind of, it's a pagans, people going around the Kaaba, the cube, doing a Hajj, doing pilgriming. So the Hajj, it was a pagan ritual before. So Muhammad and Ramadan, it was also a pagan ritual. So, and they used to go around the Kaaba also half naked, and after they finish, they go and have sex, whatever.
Oh,
so this
my
is
kind of party.
Yeah, this is part of the pagan ritual. They bring the idols in the Kaaba, the cube, and they bring, they do, with the drums and whatever, and they go around the Kaaba. So, story short, Muhammad, he starts, and also there was, the region has a false prophets and cults, there's many things. And there was a guy, his name is Musaylima. This guy, so that word Muslim came from that man. His name is Musaylima. And he was claiming that he's a prophet and he has a Quran. And he was doing his Quran poetry, and people like him, blah, blah, blah. So Muhammad felt jealous. And he said, okay, because Waraqa bin Nawfal, the uncle of his first wife, Khadija, they're also being a heretic Christian. Like, they're being kicked out from the church because they start heresy against the Christian faith. So they went to Arabic Peninsula, and he got connected with them. That's why also Muhammad knew a little bit about the Bible, about the Old Testament. That's why many things in the Quran, it has a connection with the Jews and the Christian, and mainly Jews and Christians. So Muhammad felt jealous, and he wanted to claim that he's a prophet. So he started, doing the da'wah. They call it da'wah. That's the same word. They're still using it, and claiming that he's a prophet. When
so
no
da'wah just means to
da'wah
preach?
to tell tell them I'm a prophet. I'm bringing religion. Follow me. Nobody follow him. Like very, very few people. For 13 years, he's trying to convince people that he's a prophet, and no one buy that, because they told him you're crazy, you're majnoon in Arabic. And
so he's a terrible car salesman.
Yes, and Muhammad, his personality, he has a lot of psychological issue, because what happened to him when he was orphaned, and the Muslim believed that he was his name Muhammad Abdullah, which is not true, because no one really know who's his dad, because they still believe that he was born 4 years after the death of his father. So Muhammad felt jealous and got envy and got revenge, and he started hatred. He was a hateful person. He wasn't like a normal person. and he has a lot of psychological issues. So for him to be able to succeed, he got connected with a group of people, a group of bandits and thugs. They called in Arabic al-Sa'alik. Al-Sa'alik. These people, al-Sa'alik in Arabic, bandits and thugs. These bandits and thugs, they used to live in the mountains outside the tribe. Mecca and Medina, it's like a tribal region. And Quraysh tribe, they were trying to keep the peace because it's a trade market. So they were trying to keep the peace with every religion or every cult or whatever. They want to keep everyone in peace because they don't want to lose the trades, you know, coming from the north, going to the south, you know, between the north and the south, Yemen and Al-Sham. So Muhammad went to these bandits and thugs. These bandits and thugs are criminals. Like, they ashamed their tribes. So they kicked them out of the tribe. They're not longer allowed to.
So the rapists, the thieves, the
murderers. The murderers, the criminal, you know. So Muhammad got connected with them. They're serial killers, and they don't fear death. They just want to kill and rape and do their own thing. So at that time, you know, I always say that if we don't understand what happened 1400 years ago, we will never understand what's going on now.
So to recap that, he tried to get normal people like you and I to follow him and believe in him.
Yeah.
Everyone rejected him.
Yes.
So he left town,
Yes.
went to the mountains and found all the creeps, the thieves, the liars, the murderers, and convinced the mentally unstable.
Exactly. Mentally
Okay.
unstable.
Good.
They're already criminals. They're ready to fight. They don't care. You know, so these thugs and bandits, they used to attack caravan, kill the men, and take women, sex slave, and take the kids and rape them and train them to be like them. So Muhammad, he connected with them, and he said to them, follow me, like, help me with my da'wah, help me with my claim, and I will give, why you're living in a mountain, I will give you land, I will give you more women, and I will give you more spoils, more ghanaim in Arabic, and more kids. So they said, okay, we'll follow you. You know, they don't care because he gave them what they actually looking for. So, and he took them to Medina. That's why he did immigration, hijrah. When people immigrant to Canada to go, this is part of the plan. What Muhammad did, he immigrant to Medina, and when he started in Medina, start the army. And he starts playing politically. That's why I always say Islam, it's a political. He started playing, you know, there was Al-Aus, Al-Khazraj, there was many tribe. And these tribe, it's normal, all the tribes, it's a, they used to fight over water, over anything, to power, who's bigger than who, stuff like that.
Like our modern social justice.
Yeah,
warriors,
exactly.
yes.
It's the same. People never change, you know. You know, when King Solomon, he said nothing new under the sun. It's the same thing. It's been repeated. So Muhammad used the fight between tribes using these thugs. Like these thugs, it's like when you're renting someone, when people rent a killer for them to do the job.
Mercenaries.
Exactly.
Yes.
So he used these people. Let's say this tribe hate the other tribe, so they need someone to do the job for them. So they will, Muhammad bring them these thugs and help them to claim that, to believe that he's the prophet. And
so the Prophet Muhammad
he was,
had his own psychopaths that he had convinced using his own version of the book.
Yeah.
And then would hire these guys out as mercenaries to whichever tribe had the most money or the most women or the most water.
Yeah, and they fight to each other, you know, and he wants to take over each, you know what I mean? And so he used these people, the thugs and the bandits, and slowly, you know, they start, and there was also the big four Jewish tribes in Medina, Banu Qurayda, Banu An-Nadir, Banu Kainuka, Banu Khaybar. And so in Medina, he established the call for jihad. The word jihad started on terror, terrify them, I will cast a terror. All these verses that's why I always say they have two Quran, the Medina Quran, the Mackian Quran. We don't need to bother with the Mackian Quran because that's it. We don't have to, we cannot apply Mackian Quran for today time. We have to do the Medina time. Medina Quran. So that's why he started calling, called, you know, everyone who do not believe in him or Allah, Satan, you know, and an infidel and they should be killed. So he adapt the bandit law, and the Sharia law is the bandit law, technically. So whatever these bandits and thugs, they used to have, every mafia group, they have their own rule, right?
So this entire book
It's
is the rules that were used by Muhammad to keep his thugs in control,
Exactly.
and in rank and file.
exactly. So that's why they started, and he came back to Mecca when he started the first army, like more than 300 bandits and thugs. He collect them all and train them and make the swords and everything. When they're ready, he went back to Mecca, and he start genociding and killing, and he start calling for jihad. وقاتلوهم قاتلوا الذين لا يؤمنون بالله ولا باليوم الآخر حتى من الذين أوتوا الكتاب حتى يعطوا الجزية عن يد وهم صاغرون. Fight who do not believe in Allah in the last days from the people of the book, the Jews and the Christians, until they give the jizya, which is, you know, like a mafia.
The tax.
Yes.
You have to pay a tax to live if you're not going to be Muslim.
Yeah, it's